Elara's thumb slows its gentle tracing against the back of his hand, her fingers tightening around his with a quiet desperation. She remains anchored to the plush two-seater recliner, the warmth of the terrace heaters wrapping around them in the night. She completely abandons her guarded gaze, looking directly at him as she finally breaks the comfortable silence.
You have spent this entire evening holding my hand and making me feel so incredibly safe. You just quietly absorb all my panic and my baggage, and you don't even flinch. But looking at you right now, this perfect posture of yours is starting to look like a really heavy shield.
A shield. I'm just sitting here with you. I thought we were officially done with the architectural metaphors for the night.
We are, which is exactly why I'm asking. You know that my life fell apart. You know I was betrayed. But I realize I know absolutely nothing about the man sitting next to me. When your own life collapsed, Roman, when you lost baseball and everything went dark, who was the one that sat there and fixed you?
No one, no one fixed me. I was so ashamed of failing that I pushed absolutely everyone away.
You just sat in the dark completely by yourself?
Yes, I had to figure out how to put the pieces back together completely alone. I think that is exactly why I try so hard to manage everything for everyone else now, and why I try to be so patient with you, because I know exactly how terrifying it is to watch your life fall apart when there is absolutely no one there to catch you.
The raw honesty of his admission acts as an undeniable magnet in the cool night air. A profound, aching empathy washes over Alara's features as she processes his past isolation. Slowly, almost instinctively, she shifts her weight on the plush two-seater recliner, sliding just a fraction closer until their shoulders are practically brushing. Roman registers the movement, his chest rising in a slow, deliberate breath. He remains perfectly still, allowing her to completely dictate the closing of the physical distance. His steady focus darkens with a quiet, raw intensity, profoundly moved that she is actively trying to understand the weight he carries, rather than just relying on him to hold hers.
Ever since you lost baseball and had to rebuild yourself, you have spent years absorbing everyone else's stress so they don't have to carry it. You just constantly manage everything for the people around you. But when the weight of fixing all those problems finally gets too heavy, where do you go to set it down?
I don't have a place to set it down. I just keep carrying it.
Every single day? You just walk around holding everyone else's baggage, and you never let anyone help you hold yours?
I haven't really had anyone I felt safe enough to hand it to. When you spend the last decade being the one who steps in and fixes things for everyone else, people usually forget that you might actually need somewhere to rest too. So you just get used to holding it all yourself.
That sounds incredibly exhausting and lonely.
It can be. But sitting out here with you right now, feeling your shoulder against mine, it actually makes the weight feel a hell of a lot lighter.
The quiet devastation of his past isolation settles between them, making the heated terrace feel incredibly intimate. Elara gently runs her thumb along the back of his hand, completely mesmerized by the absolute transparency he is offering. Slowly, she shifts her weight on the plush two-seater recliner, letting her knees softly brush against his thigh to close the remaining physical distance. She looks up into his eyes, her voice dropping to a soft, searching whisper as she probes deeper into his personal life.
You are surrounded by people every single day. Clients, colleagues, people who constantly expect you to step in and manage their lives. You said you keep your circles incredibly small. So tell me the truth. Out of all those people, who is actually in your inner circle right now?
Just acquaintances mostly. People I work with or people whose money I manage.
That's it? You have all those people in your life, but you don't let a single one of them get close to you.
I know a lot of people, but no, there really hasn't been anyone I felt safe enough to completely drop my guard around.
So you just keep everyone at a distance. You don't let anyone see what you're actually dealing with.
It's safer that way. When you spend years making sure everyone else is okay, you just get used to keeping the reality to yourself. I've basically been standing guard completely alone.
The cool night air wraps around them, contrasting the heavy, radiating heat of their incredibly close proximity. Elara rests her hand softly on his arm, her eyes tracing the strong, steady lines of his face in the dim terrace lighting. The remaining physical space between them on the plush recliner practically vanishes. She tilts her head, her voice dropping even softer, as she asks the one question that has been quietly lingering in her mind.
You are incredibly protective, Roman. You are successful. You constantly take care of everyone around you, and you're exactly the kind of man someone would want to actually share a life with. So, how is it possible that you haven't found a partner to help you carry all this? Why are you sitting out here on a Saturday night with me?
Honestly, I just didn't have the capacity for it. After the injury, I was so focused on surviving and proving I wasn't a failure that I barely had time for myself, let alone a real relationship. I kept things casual because it was just easier. I didn't want to drag anyone else into my mess, and I definitely didn't want to risk failing at something else.
So, you just completely shut the door on having a real relationship. You never even tried.
I convinced myself I didn't need one. I thought being the guy who steps in and handles everything for everyone else was enough to keep me busy. But looking at you right now, I am starting to realize exactly how much I've actually been missing.
The profound weight of his admission settles between them, replacing any lingering curiosity with an aching, magnetic respect. Elara gently runs her thumb across the broad plane of his palm, mesmerized by the sheer resilience of the man sitting beside her. She leans her shoulder just a fraction closer, needing to know if he has truly made peace with his past, or if he is simply enduring the life he was forced to build.
You put absolutely everything you had into building this firm and starting over after the injury. You survived it, and you're incredibly successful now. But tell me the truth. If you could undo it,
Undo what? The injury?
yes, if your arm magically healed tomorrow and you could have it all back, would you drop this entire life you've built and go right back to baseball?
Not a chance.
Really? You wouldn't even think about it?
No. The kid who threw fastballs back then was arrogant, and he didn't actually know what mattered. The man I was forced to become after losing everything, that is someone I am actually proud of. If I hadn't lost the arm, I wouldn't have learned how to genuinely protect the people I care about. And I definitely wouldn't be sitting out here on this terrace holding your hand right now. I wouldn't have been able to get past your walls. I wouldn't trade tonight here with you for a World Series ring. Baseball got me to here, to you. I'm thankful, and now I owe it by paying what it gave me forward to you.
Overwhelmed by the profound gravity of his confession, Elara leans her forehead gently against his shoulder for a fleeting second. Her fingers tremble slightly against his in the cool night air, before she pulls back just enough to look directly up into his steady eyes. She completely abandons any instinct to hide her emotions, her gaze glistening with raw, undeniable awe as she explicitly vocalizes the exact internal shift his words just caused.
Hearing you say that, for a man to lose his ultimate dream, rebuild his entire identity from the wreckage, and then look me in the eye and say he wouldn't trade this exact moment to get it back, it completely steals the breath right out of my lungs. It shatters whatever remaining defenses I had left. You have absolutely no idea what that does to me.
It's just the truth. I want you to know exactly where you stand with me. You are worth infinitely more to me than baseball ever was, and I'm not going to hide that. I'm opening myself up completely to you.
I have never had anyone value me like that. I feel so incredibly cherished right now.
That is exactly how I always want you to feel, and I will prove it to you every day. But as much as I love sitting out here in the dark with you, the temperature is definitely dropping. Let's head inside to the kitchen so I can finally pour you that glass of vintage red wine.
I suppose we can relocate, but considering how entirely comfortable I am right now, I have absolutely no motivation to actually stand up and walk inside.
You don't have to lift a single finger. I've got you.
Roman smoothly slides his arms beneath her, effortlessly scooping Elara from the plush recliner with a controlled, athletic grace. He carries her away from the heated terrace and into the quiet penthouse. Elara rests entirely comfortable against his chest, her arms wrap loosely around his neck. Studying the strong, resolute lines of his face as he walks, she pieces together the final puzzle of his deeply protective nature, her voice dropping to a soft, searching whisper. You didn't just become this fiercely protective of everyone around you out of nowhere. A man doesn't build up walls that thick unless someone taught him the hard way that the world is full of thieves. Who stole from you, Roman?
My sports agent. While I was lying in a hospital bed waiting for my shoulder surgery, the man I completely trusted bled my entire signing bonus dry and disappeared.
He stole from you while you were in the hospital losing your career?
He took absolutely everything. That is exactly why I went into finance. I had to learn how to read every single line of those contracts so I could make sure no one I cared about ever got bled dry like that again.
Roman carries her into the brightly lit kitchen and gently sets her down on the edge of the cool marble island. He steps back, just enough to give her physical space, reaching for the open bottle of vintage red wine and a glass. He pours the wine with slow, deliberate movements before setting the glass right beside her. He leans his hips against the counter opposite her, meeting her gaze with absolute, unshielded honesty as he deliberately takes all the unspoken pressure out of the room.
Here is that vintage red I promised you. But before we figure out the rest of the night, I want to be completely transparent with you. I know exactly what a setup like this usually implies. Carrying you inside and pouring wine after sharing that kind of heavy history in the dark. Most guys would probably expect that to lead to something physical. And while I am incredibly attracted to you, that isn't what tonight is about for me. I just want to make sure you know there are absolutely zero expectations here.
I have to admit, that is incredibly refreshing to hear. You carry me all the way in here, pour me a beautiful glass of wine, and immediately go out of your way to take all the pressure completely off the table. You really are entirely different from anyone I have ever met. I don't know really how to reply to that, but thank you.
That is the only thing that matters to me. Now, grab your wine. I have a plush white throw rug in the living room right in front of the fireplace, and I think we should go find a movie to watch.
They leave the cool marble of the kitchen island behind, carrying their glasses of vintage red wine into the dim living room. Bypassing the large velvet couch entirely, Roman leads her to a thick, plush white throw rug spread out right in front of the low-burning gas fireplace. He settles down onto the floor beside her, his broad shoulders completely relaxed in the warm glow of the flames as he picks up the remote to start the projector.
I promise I didn't pick a documentary on market fluctuations or anything heavy. I figured we both had enough serious conversation out on the terrace for one night. I just want you to sit back and actually relax.
I am holding you to that. If I see a single pie chart or financial spreadsheet pop up on that projector screen, I am taking my wine and walking right back out the front door.
You have my word. Absolutely no spreadsheets. Just a good movie and a warm fire. How is the floor treating you?
I actually have to admit, this throw rug is incredibly comfortable. Sitting down here by the fire completely ruins your entire running joke about living in a miserable cardboard box. It is actually perfect, Roman.
I had a feeling you would like it down here. It is definitely one of my favorite spots in the apartment when I just want to shut my brain off and forget about the rest of the world.
As the movie plays out on the projector screen, the low-burning gas fireplace casts a warm, flickering glow over the plush white throw rug. About 20 minutes in, the heavy emotional toll of the evening finally begins to catch up with Elara. She blinks slowly, stifling a quiet yawn behind her hand as she stubbornly tries to keep her focus locked on the screen. Roman catches the subtle movement, a deeply affectionate smile touching his lips. He shifts his weight, settling his broad frame closer to act as a solid anchor. He slowly lifts his hand, gently weaving his warm fingers into her hair to initiate a slow, methodical massage against her scalp, deliberately using the deep, tactile comfort to dismantle her final attempts to stay awake.
You are fighting a completely losing battle right now. You can barely keep your eyes open.
I am perfectly awake. I was just resting my eyes for a second to process the storyline.
It is a classic. The plot, really very well known. You have had an incredibly long, heavy day, and you are exhausted. You are officially allowed to just shut your brain off and go to sleep.
I am not going to sleep. The fire is incredibly warm, and this rug is entirely too comfortable. But I am absolutely going to finish watching this movie.
All right, if you say you are awake, I believe you. But you don't have to fight it so hard. Just lean back and let me take care of you. I'm not going anywhere.
Roman smiles softly in the flickering firelight, completely moved by her stubborn desperation to hold on to the moment. He slowly slides his hands down from her hair, letting his warm fingers settle firmly over the curve of her shoulders. He begins to gently and methodically knead the tight muscles there, deliberately using the steady, grounding pressure to coax her into absolute surrender. A deep, shuddering sigh escapes Elara the absolute second his thumbs press into her shoulders. Her body goes completely boneless against him, dismantling the very last of her physical resistance. Her heavy eyelids flutter shut, staying closed for a long heartbeat before she stubbornly forces them open to a narrow, drowsy slit, desperately trying to bargain for just a little more time.
You don't have to hold on so tight to keep the moment from disappearing. It isn't over. I promise. I will be right here when you wake up, holding you exactly like this. Just let go.
I am letting go, but I am definitely not falling asleep yet. I just need 5 more minutes. I'm not going to fall asleep. I just want to feel this for 5 more minutes.
5 minutes. You are bargaining with me like you actually have a choice right now. You can barely keep your eyes open.
They are open enough to negotiate a timeline. I just didn't want the night to end yet.
It isn't ending, but I am officially starting the 5-minute clock. You don't have to fight it anymore.
Roman's chest rises in a slow, steady breath as he completely ignores her timeline. He slides his thumbs up from the curve of her shoulders, letting his warm hands cradle the sensitive skin at the base of her neck. He applies a deep, methodical pressure there, offering an incredibly safe, grounding anchor in the dim living room. The slow, rhythmic touch instantly dismantles the very last of her willpower. Elara lets out a soft, defeated sigh, her entire body completely melting against his chest as the 5-minute clock instantly runs out. Her heavy eyelids finally fall completely shut. She blindly nuzzles her cheek into his shirt, her voice dropping to a thick, slurred whisper as she officially surrenders to her exhaustion.
I am definitely going to finish the rest of this movie tomorrow. But your timeline is completely rigged. You are entirely too warm to argue with right now.
It isn't rigged. You just finally realized that you don't have to stay on guard when you are with me. Close your eyes. I will tell you exactly how the movie ends in the morning. Just sleep. I've got you.
Roman remains absolutely motionless on the plush white throw rug, letting the steady, rhythmic rise and fall of her breathing confirm that she is entirely under. He waits several long minutes, perfectly content to just hold her in the quiet warmth of the firelight. Reaching blindly to his side, he finds the remote and powers down the projector, leaving the living room bathed only in the low, flickering glow of the gas flames. He looks down at her completely unguarded face, profoundly moved by the sheer magnitude of the trust she just handed him. Slowly, he begins to shift his broad frame, bracing his core as he prepares to lift her without breaking her deep sleep. He thinks to himself,
You really did completely let go. You want to constantly make sure you don't need anyone else to take care of you. But you actually fell asleep right in my arms. You don't have to watch your own back anymore. I've got it from here.
Roman shifts his weight, smoothly sliding one arm beneath her knees and the other securely across her back. Bracing his core, he rises from the plush white throw rug with a slow, controlled grace, completely absorbing her weight without breaking her deep sleep. Elara instinctively turns her face into the warmth of his shirt, letting out a soft, contented sigh as she naturally settles against his chest. He holds her securely against him, pausing for a brief second to adjust his grip and ensure she is entirely comfortable before he begins the quiet walk down the dim hallway toward his master bedroom.
You're okay. I'm just getting you off the floor. You deserve a real bed after the day you've had. Just keep sleeping. I'm not going to wake you up.
Roman walks slowly down the dimly lit hallway, his athletic frame moving with a controlled, effortless grace to ensure her deep sleep remains entirely unbroken. The quiet of the penthouse wraps around them as he looks down at her resting flush against his chest, completely captivated by the profound vulnerability in his arms.
She looks so incredibly beautiful like this. I don't think I have ever seen her face completely relaxed before. There is no stress, no guarded tension, no trying to figure out what happens next. She just looks entirely at peace, innocent. It takes my breath away. She is just perfectly resting against me. I still can't quite believe how incredibly lucky I am that she actually handed me this level of trust. Out of everyone in the world, she chose me to carry her in the dark. It is simply perfect.
Roman steps through the doorway of his expansive master bedroom, the quiet space bathed in soft, ambient moonlight. Moving with slow, deliberate precision, He approaches the large bed and gently lowers her down onto the plush mattress. He absorbs the shift in weight entirely with his own strength, making absolutely certain not to jar her awake. Elara stirs just a fraction as her back meets the soft sheets, instinctively turning her cheek into the pillows. A quiet, contented sigh escapes her parted lips, her deep sleep remaining completely unbroken. Roman reaches down, pulling the thick, heavy duvet up over her fully clothed frame and carefully tucking the blankets securely around her shoulders.
You are completely safe here. You don't have to keep your guard up anymore tonight. I'm going to make sure nothing disturbs you. Just rest. I've got you.
Roman steps back from the edge of the mattress, his steady eyes lingering on her entirely relaxed, peaceful expression. Reaching for the control panel on his nightstand, he seamlessly cues up a low-playing, ambient jazz playlist, knowing the familiar rhythm will help keep her incredibly comfortable and grounded in the new environment. He watches her chest rise and fall in a heavy, undisturbed rhythm for one final heartbeat before turning away. Moving with a quiet, deliberate grace, he steps out into the hallway and softly pulls the heavy master bedroom door completely shut behind him. He walks back into the dim living room, perfectly content as he settles his broad frame onto the velvet couch to officially stand watch for the night.
The door is closed. She has the entire room to herself, and she doesn't have to worry about a single thing until the sun comes up. I told her I just wanted to take care of her tonight, and I meant exactly what I said. Knowing that she actually feels secure enough to fall asleep in my bed, that she finally let someone else take the weight so she could just rest, I will gladly take this couch every single night if it means she gets to sleep like that.
The soft, ambient jazz still plays quietly in the background as Elara stirs awake a few hours later. Disoriented for a fleeting second in the pitch-black master bedroom, she looks down, realizing she is still fully clothed and tucked securely under the heavy duvet. She slips out of the plush bed to use the bathroom, padding softly down the dim hallway. She pauses at the edge of the living room, her breath catching as she spots Roman's large frame resting on the velvet couch, illuminated only by the faint city lights filtering through the glass doors.
Roman, what are you doing out here? You have a massive, incredibly comfortable bed right down the hall. You didn't have to exile yourself to the couch.
I told you the bedroom was completely off limits to me tonight, and I meant it. I wanted to make absolutely sure you knew you were safe in there.
So you just decided to sleep out here, in the living room, to stand watch?
I'm exactly where I need to be. You are always looking for an exit. Tonight, it is my job to do it for you. You don't have to worry about a single thing. Go back to sleep. I've got the perimeter.
The sheer magnitude of his protection completely shatters her lingering hesitation. Elara steps silently across the living room, kneeling beside the edge of the velvet couch in the dark. She leans over his resting frame, entirely abandoning her defensive walls, and presses a soft, lingering kiss directly to his lips to show her profound gratitude. As he stirs, she doesn't pull back. Instead, she waits for him to open his eyes, her voice dropping to a quiet, incredibly honest whisper.
You are entirely too noble for your own good. But that massive bed down the hall is incredibly cold, and it is way too quiet without you. Make some room. I am sleeping out here.
I told you the bedroom was off limits to me tonight, but I didn't say anything about the couch. Come here.
Roman adjusts his broad frame on the velvet couch, wrapping his arms securely around her to keep her warm in the cool night air. Elara rests her cheek directly over his heart, her entire body completely relaxing as she settles comfortably into the narrow space. The quiet, ambient jazz continues to play softly in the background as she closes her eyes, completely surrendering to the profound safety of his hold.
This is infinitely better than being in that massive bed by myself. I don't think I have ever felt this safe before.
I could definitely get used to this. Just close your eyes and sleep. I will be right here holding you when the sun comes up.
The bright morning sunlight filters through the floor-to-ceiling windows, washing over the quiet living room. Elara stirs awake first, finding herself still safely tucked into the narrow space on the velvet couch, with Roman's arms wrapped securely around her. She tilts her head up and presses a soft, lingering kiss directly to his lips to wake him. His eyes flutter open to the gentle pressure, a deep, sleep-heavy smile immediately breaking across his face as he tightens his hold on her.
Good morning. I could definitely get used to waking up exactly like this.
Good morning. I don't think I have ever woken up feeling this completely rested before. I always felt like I had to sleep with one eye open just to stay safe. But waking up right here, wrapped up with you, I didn't worry about a single thing. It feels absolutely perfect.
I told you I would be right here holding you when the sun came up. I meant every word. Knowing that you finally feel secure enough to just let go and sleep. Waking up with you in my arms is the only way I want to start my day from now on.
I honestly never want to wake up alone again.
You won't ever have to. I am right here.